In 1812, Napoleon marched into Russia with the largest army Europe had ever seen. Over 600,000 soldiers followed him, believing victory was certain. They crossed the Niemen River, expecting a swift and decisive campaign. But Russia refused to fight on Napoleon's terms. Instead, they retreated, pulling the enemy deeper into their vast land. Villages were abandoned, and silence replaced resistance. Soon, the land itself turned hostile. Russian forces burned crops and homes, leaving nothing behind. Food vanished, and hunger began to spread among the French ranks. Yet Napoleon continued forward, determined to reach Moscow. At Smolensk, battle finally erupted in flames and destruction. But even in defeat, the Russians withdrew once again. The French advanced through ruins, already weakened and exhausted. Then came Borodino, the bloodiest clash of the campaign. Tens of thousands fell in a single day of relentless fighting. Napoleon claimed the battlefield, but at a terrible cost. His army was no longer unstoppable. Still, Moscow lay ahead, his ultimate prize. When the French entered the city, they found it empty. And soon, Moscow began to burn. Flames consumed the city, destroying any hope of shelter or supply. Napoleon waited for surrender, but none came. Days turned into weeks, and the cold began to rise. Then winter arrived, silent, deadly, unstoppable. Snow covered the land, and temperatures dropped without mercy. The army, unprepared, began to suffer. Napoleon finally ordered the retreat. What began as a march of conquest became a fight for survival. Soldiers froze where they stood, unable to continue. Hunger forced men to eat whatever they could find, even the dead. Russian cavalry struck from the shadows, attacking without warning. The retreating army was hunted across the frozen land. Cannons and wagons were abandoned in the snow. Discipline collapsed as chaos took control. The once mighty Grand Army was breaking apart. Every mile west was paid for in blood and suffering. Rivers froze, but crossing them meant risking death beneath the ice. Many never made it across. The cold showed no mercy, not even to the strongest. And still, the march continued. Then came the Berezina River, the final test of survival. Bridges were built under enemy fire as panic spread through the ranks. Thousands rushed across, desperate to escape. The crossing turned into chaos as artillery struck relentlessly. Bridges collapsed, and men fell into freezing waters below. Only a fraction survived the crossing. The rest were lost to the river, the cold, or the enemy. What remained of the army pushed forward, barely alive. They were no longer soldiers, but survivors, and the road behind them was filled with the dead. When they finally reached safety, only a shadow of the army remained. From 600,000, only tens of thousands survived. Napoleon had lost more than a battle, he had lost an empire's strength. Across Europe, his enemies began to rise. The illusion of his invincibility was shattered forever. Russia had not just resisted, it had destroyed him. The winter, the hunger, and the endless distance had won. Years later, Napoleon would fall completely at Waterloo. But his defeat had truly begun in the snows of Russia. Because in the end, winter became the deadliest enemy of all. If you found this story powerful and want to see more cinematic history brought to life, make sure to support the channel. Hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video with others who love epic historical documentaries. And don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss the next episode, because the next story might be even more intense, more dramatic, and more unforgettable. Stay tuned, history has many more secrets to uncover.